why Tsonga has been such a top player for so many years. He's got all those attributes. He's got height, he's got speed, he's got strength. He's got some big shots to go with it. And if he's starting to hit the backhand like that, you know he's feeling good.
It's like commentators, isn't it? You and I, Baz. Heavyweight. Big boned. Big Lester is 110 pounds dripping wet.
It's because he spends 2 hours in the sauna every day.
What were you saying? I'm just finishing my ice cream.
That's all you've eaten today, probably.
Need to serve better, and he only had 3 unreturned serves. He's had 3 already in the second set.
Well, Nick, what you look for when you have just been crushed in a set like Kuznetsov was there is a reaction, and that's such a positive response from the Russian.
Yeah, I think Barry was right when he was saying, I think that's one thing when you know he's playing someone like Tsonga. Really does Tsonga win a match one-on-one, does he? You tend to get the odd kind of ebb and flow with him in matches. There will be periods where perhaps the concentration will just wander a little bit. So I think when you're Kuznetsov, you certainly know that. But I don't think you look very rusty in the first set, really. And as you say, whether that's a lack of matches in the first match of the season, I think you're absolutely right what you were saying, Dan. We sit here and we analyse and what else, but you've got to give these guys a bit of slack here, because someone like Kuznetsov hasn't played a tour level match in 11 weeks, so it's building your way in here. Sadly, given the draw he's got, he's not having a whole lot of time to build his way in, but still time.
He's up in the count on this Tsonga serve.
Much better footwork, I thought, off the return initially, despite the fact he got the drop shot all wrong. The footwork to get out to the second serve was much better. He went after the ball, was a lot more aggressive, got it deep to the back end. So from that perspective, that was much better.
I think Tsonga earned that drop shot. Do you remember in the opening set when he hit the approach to Tsonga's forehand? I think he just didn't really back himself to hit the approach and have to defend the net. It always
13-15.
worries me when a player has that type of shot, Nick, in the middle of the court and they go for the drop shot. It's like I don't back myself at the net.
Yeah.
There's another way to look at it, though. Maybe he's trying to change things up, He's just lost a set, 6-1.
Yeah. But the drop shot should be more of it's a way when you know you've got your opponent out of position. Anytime the drop shot becomes a way to just change it up or a sign of desperation, we go back to the match yesterday at the end of the opening set with the Goffin encounter, and the drop shot was key, wasn't it? It enabled Goffin to take that opening set.
Nora, pregnant, as Barry confirmed earlier.
15.
I think what also should be mentioned is, you talked about Tsonga changing his service motion in the autumn. Potentially how much of a big deal it actually was. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 31 years of age. His best shot is requiring a technical change. That's a fairly kind of substantial thing to do at that stage of his career. I'm sure that decision wasn't taken lightly. I mean, obviously it was forced on by injury, but I think it shouldn't be underestimated how much of an actual change that took. probably within Tsonga's attitude to have to employ that. You think when you go back to a couple of years ago when he won the Canadian Masters, I mean, his serve was just untouchable a couple of years ago.
You know, Nick, I think, well, Jose is a very self-aware, intelligent man.
13-15.
Like the vast majority of these guys, they love what they do, and he wants to be able to compete at this level for as long as possible.
Sure.
And so, if he's aware of what needs to happen in order for him to do that, then he just has to accept it, doesn't he? And make the most of it.
You could understand him naturally think, well, comparing it with the serve before the change. But I guess if it was maybe taken out of his hands as it appears with that injury.
And of course he's actually sharing his coach this year, isn't he? Because Thierry Assioni's working with Svitolina as well this season, so I'm not sure how that dynamic's going to work, but his main coach who's here with him this week, I think is going down to work with Svitolina next week, so a job share.
Nora's got it covered.
So he's going to have to change roles, isn't he? One time when he's in the men's, he'd be sitting in the stands, and then with the women, he'll be courtside.
Yep.
Nice way to finish that game off. It was a tricky one again for Kuznetsov, but the Russian holds firm. Just nose in front early in the second set.
No, but you still can challenge.
On the part of the umpire as far as that is concerned.
15 more.
But more importantly, he's got to make sure that doesn't disrupt his concentration. Because it's a battle you will never win with the umpire.
Oh, it's a lovely passing shot from Tsonga. Positioned himself well.
And what a wonderful sign that... Sorry, Dan. What a wonderful sign this is as well for Tsonga, because the backhand for Joe to be able to hit this particular shot is not always a necessary strength, but a good use of the left hand. Always a pass that he would feel more comfortable hitting down the line.
From the corner, the right center line, the ball is called in.
Yeah, just to confirm, in the last game, that the questionable call, it was confirmed in. Tsonga, so he would have lost the challenge anyway.
Comes over to the second set.
Wrong shot, Nick, or feeling he has to go there because he wants to hit to the weaker wing?
I'm just not sure he's picking up the ball that early, to be honest. I mean, that to me just looked a little slow to react. I mean, he didn't seem to be too far away from it, but he just didn't seem to anticipate where it was going.
Tsonga does that, doesn't he? He sort of makes you change your strategy.
Just some wonderful free hitting from Tsonga. Scores level once again. What sort of work is he getting on the ball, especially the forehand side, Nick? How flat is it? Is he changing it up?
No, I mean, I think it's a typical Tsonga shot, isn't it? It's a heavy, deep ball that he hits aggressively. It's not a guy hits with a whole ton of spin, is it? I think actually that last rally, I have to say, was probably the best I've seen Kuznetsov hit from the back of the court. He was starting to penetrate a little more there, and I think he's just starting to feel a little more confident about himself. But again, that's a very unsteady shot for me there. You know, that's something we talked a bit about yesterday with a certain couple of players. Again, you've got to be comfortable in that part of the court these days, haven't you? And for me, it just looked as though he didn't want to hit a volley there. it's almost like I've got to hit a groundie, mid-court groundie, and yet I don't really know what to do after that.
I discussed it yesterday, but he's a little bit of
15 on.
set and hit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Kuznetsov. So if you can make him hit that particular shot on the move, and in comparison, someone like Tsonga, he is one of the best for me in terms of that. Hit the forehand and flow through the ball. That's why he's good at the net. 1-8 on 9 points today.
Well, that was a successful net approach from the Russian.
13-15.
Made possible by a big first serve. Flat as a pancake.
And it is remarkable, isn't it, guys, in this era, how many guys, and we've been watching the sport for a long time, how many guys, the younger guys, come up who aren't comfortable with that mid-court ball. From the back of the court with pace, they're hit all day long, but you ask them to hit the ball from the service line, they've got to move their feet up to it. It's remarkable how many players are not comfortable doing that these days.
Constant.
No doubt.
40-15. Kuznetsov leads by 3 games to 2. Mr. Tsonga.
Solid service game from Kuznetsov. It's 3-2 up in the second set. Much better than it was in the first.
He's already a couple of breaks up.
Mr. Kuznetsov is on the court.
All guys been busy the last 2-3 games. Andrey's halfway across to the other side. He's going to continue that walk.
15 round.
Fifth ace.
Mr. Kuznetsov has 2 challenges remaining.
Just going back to the changes that Kuznetsov has made on those service percentages. It's one thing being aware of what the problem is, obviously, and why you would have lost a set 6-1, but it's quite another one having the ability to actually put that into action.
13-15.
Just the time spent on the court, he's starting to get the rhythm back.
There are some days where you can try anything, and nothing works, but at least he's found something here which is working.
And what a difference that last shot, Tsonga, the way he dealt with the short lower ball and the way he sort of hit the ball on the move compared to Kuznetsov's troubles at times.
Game Tsonga.
Score moves to 3-all. Wilfried Tsonga is demonstrating a quite brilliant all-round, all-court game, Barry.
He looks comfortable.
He's come to the net 10 times, just once as he lost that point. Still only 6 unforced errors off the racket of the Frenchman.
Latin. First service. 15 long.
Was you thinking that was a let, Nick?
No, I don't think so. No, it certainly didn't suggest that. I just think he didn't pick it up.
Go to long.
Nick Kuznetsov is spending a bit of time selecting the right balls, it seems. A couple of times he's changed his mind with the ball kids. So the conditions are having an effect, aren't they, out there?
Yeah, you got to remember only 2 games away from changing them as well, so they're a little bit older.
You're mentioning Goffin, who played yesterday, remarked on how heavy the conditions were and how the balls were fluffing up.
Game Kuznetsov.
And that was a nice clean winner on the backhand side, and a love game for Kuznetsov.
4 games to 3.
Means that he's 4-3 up in the second set.
2 games.
In the draw this year, but Wilfried Tsonga is back for the first time since 2012 when he won the title. He's a favourite, isn't he?
He's had a good run though, hasn't he, Rafa? He served the tournament very well.
And also, they have the top 2 players in the world in the draw. Djokovic through to the second round yesterday. Andy Murray next on court here against Jeremy Chardy.
Sir Andy Murray.
Sir Andy Murray.
When he was warming up yesterday, the poor kids were shouting, Sir Andy, Sir Andy,
Really?
Sir Andy. It's going to happen quite a few occasions, I think, from now on in.
Yeah, if you're not aware of the news or what happens in the UK, New Year's honours lists are announced. Announced at the very end of the year, and Andy Murray was given a knighthood, so he is now officially a Sir, bestowed by royalty. It's another love service game for Tsonga. Kuznetsov not getting any traction on the return, but he himself has been holding serve well. So will that continue as we move to the business end of the second set? Oh, again, fantastic movement from Tsonga, and that single-handed backhand shows.
That's a tough loss of a point for Kuznetsov because he did everything right. I mean, first of all, at the beginning of the rally, he neutralised Tsonga's very good shot. Good approach. Looked like he just lifted his head, Nick.
It was a makeable volley, wasn't it? That's the thing. You're right, he played a good point, but again, just not quite got the skills in that part of the court
And
at the moment.
if you sort of think of Pat Cash or Pat Rafter hitting that volley, they would have stayed down, wouldn't they?
Yeah. He didn't have to move a whole lot, did he, to make it either?
Mr.
two are
Tsonga at the left center line, the ball's gone in.
I think the top player,
Yeah, it has to
in
be,
the
doesn't it?
moment that this is, you've got to be looking to make that.
It'd be interesting to know how much he did work in, how much on his on that side of the game in the off season, how much he was willing to work on that side of the game.
Tsonga has one challenger remaining.
I still think he's used his shot
40-15.
volley.
Oh, despite his missed volley, he's 40-15 up on his fair. You know, I'd look at it and think, okay, Tsonga did fantastically well to get the ball down as low as he did, to make that volley. It's difficult enough to make it missable. Anyway, it's all
New balls, please.
relevant now as Tsonga. I beg your pardon.
Kuznetsov leads by 5 games to 4.
Looked like he was in decent position there, Nick, to take that on.
Very decent position. He's disappointed by that, and also he's missed going down the middle there, isn't he? He's not even trying to do a lot of work. He's definitely getting more read on the Tsonga server. He's putting more balls back into play.
Kuznetsov scampering around the court, making good use of the boast, as the squash players play it. Slice forehand on the stretch, getting back into position.
He always looks injured the way he walks, but he moves pretty well. Looks like me when I've just got off the treadmill, having run my 15Ks. Brilliant. One of his best backhands of the match, and I love the way he capitalised on that shorter ball and took it on the rise, Kuznetsov.
I was just about to say that's what Tsonga needed, that big tee serve that Kuznetsov did so well, not just to get it back, but get it back deep and in the corner, and he's been rewarded with a set point. Wilfried taking some extra time here.
I wonder if he'll go with the backhand again. It's always been one of his favourite serves, down set point, break point.
Left.
That's going to drift long. Well played, Andrey Kuznetsov. First time he's broken Wilfried Tsonga.